Federal government has grown beyond the consent of the governed. It's not even a question anymore. And the states have been made victims of this anti-American trend. So far, 19 states have passed Convention of States legislation, and 9 states have active legislation pending. We, the people, need 34 states to call a convention to amend the U.S. Constitution and finally collar this federal Leviathan. Here to detail where we are in this fight against the feds is President of Convention of States, Mark Meckler. It's always good to see you, my friend. On all levels, from the intel agencies to Congress to DHS to HHS to IRS and other 3-letter agencies, this government is too big and can't be given proper oversight by elected members of Congress. The states must step in, yes?
Yeah, and it was never meant to be this way, Chris. And when the framers framed up the Constitution, their intent was that we would keep this thing small enough that we could keep a handle on it. But they also knew that it might get out of control someday. They understood centralized power. And so they gave us the second clause of Article 5 to allow us to, as I say, grab the federal government around the throat and shove it back in the constitutional box.
That's right, and that's where it belongs. A limited government means a freer people. So, Mark, as a citizen of Texas, I can tell you, I can attest that states are often the victims of this unresponsive, unaccountable, cold and callous federal government. True, yes?
Absolutely, and I also am a resident of Texas, and here's a great example of that. The federal government has thrown open our borders to criminals from all around the world, illegal folks coming across the border, illegal aliens. We're talking criminals from mental institutions, people who intend to do us harm coming in. And then the federal government keeps us as Texans from doing anything about it. Well, in a convention, we could specifically give the states the authority to secure their own borders, and that's something we need to do.
Finally, what are some of the top issues that could be discussed at a convention of states? Because the federal government keeps on overreaching and overreaching and overreaching. The priorities are changing. What are your top 3?
Yeah, I think at the very top, the American people are concerned about the fiscal state, the economy of the United States, and we are currently spending out of control and have been for a long time. So that would be something like a balanced budget amendment with tax caps and spending caps in place. A second would be anything that would impose term limits on the federal government. We talk about the deep state. So it's not just Congress, but it's also staffers, bureaucrats, and judges. And then finally, and I think most importantly, is anything that would just take power away from Washington, D.C. We can literally do away with a lot of those 3-letter agencies who are talking about, the EPA, the IRS, the DOJ, or the FBI. We can do away with or limit the power of these agencies by calling a convention.
True, and the Department of Education. Everybody pretends the Department of Education was somehow founded with Benjamin Franklin writing it into the Constitution. It's 1970s that damn thing was created, and all it has done is ruin education. Mark Meckler, sir, thank you very much. Keep us posted. We're going to have you on a lot more, along with some reps from the states.